All right. Did you like that? That was
I
pretty
loved
cool, right?
it.
I'm going to actually do something even better. I was on a live with Casey Watts a couple weeks ago, and I just love what she did with her live. So I'm so excited about that. But my countdown, we're here, we're live with you. Okay, so everybody, good evening. And you know how I am. I'm always like forgetting to add something. There we go. I'm always forgetting to add something, and I wanted to make sure that we were in YouTube. So if you're in YouTube, let me know, say hello. If you're in Facebook and a Facebook live group, say hello, let me know that you are there. I am Joyce. I am Joyce Conley. I am the founder of Alve Pro Network, and I created Alve Pro to support the assistant principal, the aspiring assistant principal who is on the journey trying to figure out what in the world do I want to do? Do I want to do this? Is there support that I can have? And helping them on that journey. But then when you get into that position, being an assistant principal, I can't even explain it. I've been an assistant principal for 6 years now, and every year it's something different. And I realized after my first year, I struggled. I struggled mentally. I struggled emotionally. I was on the phone with HR, ready to quit. I can tell you my foot is always, dibble dabbling across that line. But I just wanted to be a support for the new assistant principal and the assistant principal who's a veteran, because like I said, every year it's different. So I created Alve Pro Network. I am now the lead consultant for Alve Pro Consulting, where we support the assistant principal and the aspiring assistant principal in all things, because burnout is real. Lack of systems will cause burnout. And if you build relationships, get really good with your response or communication, and become as resilient as possible, you can succeed. And I am testament to that. So that's me. I'm Joyce again. And tonight I have the pleasure of speaking with one of my, I would like to say, friends, one of my AP friends, one of my colleagues. We meet together almost every Tuesday for class, and Adasha is just a ray of sunshine. I'm telling you, I will text her and be like, hey, girl, I am feeling something today. And she will send me back something, and my day just becomes so much brighter. So I said, look, I need to talk to you because I need you to share that feeling, like that positivity with my people. So if you're here in my Facebook group, tell me you're there. Who are you? What's your name? Because I may not see your name, just because the way that I'm doing StreamYard, if you did not sign up to say it's okay for me to see your name, I will not see it. So tell me what your name is. What's your position? Are you an aspiring assistant principal? Are you a current one? Is it your first year? Are you a vet? And where are you located? I love to see all of the people who are watching. So do that for me in the comments. And the comment section is really there for you to give us feedback. So if we ask you to put something, put it. If we ask you to respond, please respond, because we want to be of service to you as well as we discuss purpose over position. So let me go ahead and welcome Adasha. Adasha, welcome to the Alve Pro Network. I don't know if we call this like a podcast, a video platform, whatever it is. You're here, and I'm so grateful to have you. So Adasha, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, okay? And while she's telling us about her, you guys tell us about you. Who are you? Hey, Adasha.
Well, hey, Joyce, how are you? And thank you for such a warm welcome. Everyone, I'm so excited. My name is Adasha Elmore. And a little bit about me is that I am in education. This is 15 years and counting. I am a product of Orange County Public Schools, the same district that I teach and I administer in today. I have been around everyone. I've been from K-12 all the way to the collegiate sector, where I worked with a TRIO program, which is also my story. At the end of the day, I've been in non-Title I schools and I've been in Title I. So at the same time, and at everything all together, I am well versed, but yet I am a lifelong learner. So each and every day I'm learning something, but that's just a little bit about myself.
Awesome. Okay, so when I was like, Adasha, we have to get you on here, right? I was like, all right, tell me what you want to talk about. And I wasn't surprised. I really wasn't. I was like, okay, no, of course she would say that. So she would love to share with you about that purpose piece. So I have some questions. And if you've been with me, I'm not interviewing Adasha. I am just picking her brain and we're going to have some great dialogue. Okay.
Mhm.
And while we are dialoguing, I want you to do the same thing. So, Adasha, how do you believe prioritizing your purpose, right, over position can impact? Because we want to impact the world, right? I know you, I know me. We want to impact the world.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
how does that impact the overall effectiveness and success of schools?
Well, just to start out, position in my head, it puts a period on things. So operating as an assistant principal, if I go to work and say, you know what, I'm the assistant principal today, and I'm going to tell them what they need to do. I'm going to evaluate this. I'm going to manage that. Well, oftentimes, what I found, Joyce, is that it puts a period
Mm,
on me affecting the entire system and flow of the school versus me coming to work and saying, you know what, I'm serving purpose today.
mm,
And with that being said, purpose has lent itself to me not just telling people what to do. And when I say people, it goes all the way down to the little VPK babies that I absolutely love. They're little people. So at the end of the day, purpose allows it to be a comma where there
mm.
should be, or most of the time, not should, most people put periods there. So when I serve and when you learn to serve and your purpose, what it allows is that you begin to show teachers instead of tell them. You
Mm.
begin to show students the way instead of telling them so much. And so one of the models that I adopted and I absolutely love is that I every day, my number one goal is to set the example by being the example. So in my opinion, Joyce, that is what has contributed to a school moving forward successfully, academically, relationally, setting the example by being it and coming out of that realm of position and just
Wow.
serving your purpose. And purpose is on the ground running.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I'm taking notes because I'm about to use these quotes in my stories. Okay, so I love how you said set the example by being the example. Would you
Mhm.
say that that's like servant leadership to the core?
Most definitely, Joyce, and truly, my favorite leadership style is that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the symbol and sign of humility, it goes a long ways. And so, in order to allow a system to move, in my opinion, you have to level with the system first. So, for example, if I'm speaking to a VPK student, I love to wear heels. Everyone, I wear
Right.
heels and I wear sneakers back and forth. But if I'm wearing a heel, then I'm super tall over the VPK students. So what I often do is I sit on floors. I sit in, faces. I come down. I sit in chairs, even with teachers. So at the end of the day, leveling the playing field in the most humble way, Joyce, is what I found that truly affects change and it moves a school.
Yeah, and I agree because that's like we think about the whole community. So we're talking
Mhm.
about our and like all of our stakeholders. And if
Correct.
you think about it from the children, from the youngest children that we're working with, getting on their level, understanding where they're coming from, to our teachers, when I spoke about bridging the gap between teachers and instructional leaders, it
Yes.
was really being there like hand to hand, like hand in hand. Like I am not going to tell you to do something if I can't do it with you or I haven't done it before, and I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to suggest you and ask questions. And it's not, I think I saw something
Mhm.
on LinkedIn just a few minutes ago, and
Uh-huh.
it was talked about being leadership isn't about power, right?
Mhm.
So it's not about power, it's about being there with your people. And our deputy superintendent in our school uses a name for that. And I read it and I was like, dang, that is good because that's what I believe too. And I know you too, Adesha, that
Correct.
faculty. When we're talking about leveling, it's not I'm here, you're here. We are
Correct.
all here because we all have the same purpose, right?
Correct.
So I may have this title and it may be that on the staffing report
Mhm.
and people start to say, "Oh, you make more money than me." Okay, well maybe that's fine. It's okay.
Right.
But guess what? We're going to do this together and I'm going to be here for you, right? And take a lot of that the hit, but we're
Mhm.
going to be in this together. And when I take the hit, it's because I'm protecting you because I am here to serve you.
Correct.
So I love that. Now, I don't know if you can see comments. I can see comments, but I have some people here. Kanisha's here. Demetria's here. Someone said, love the intentionality involved here in getting level with the listeners. And
Wow.
that is for our children. They need to be able to hear us because it's true. It's intimidating, right?
Oh, yes.
You've got to come
Yes.
down to their level. And that just means stooping to their level. That means coming down and being with them at that level. So
Correct.
I agree with that. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that you said that position puts the period on things. One thing that I just, oh my gosh, it like makes my skin crawl is that's not my job. Okay.
100, Joyce.
No, it's everybody's job.
100%.
Because what's our job? Like, what is our job? Seriously, what is our job?
Listen, our job has so many hats. But when you decide to get into education, those are hats that are automatic. Whether my hair is long, whether it's short, it still has to fit all that you do. But again, as I walk into the building, as you enter the building every day, your mindset has to be on, man, I'm entering the building to affect change. And it all starts with kids at the core. So that growth mindset, Joyce, also goes into the conversation about purpose. Your mindset has to be where it needs to be, not sometimes, but daily.
Exactly. Every single day. And
Yes.
I will say, I know we're not supposed to like, okay, it's cliche to say leave your problems at the door, right?
Correct. It is.
Cliche. However, we have to leave our problems at the door if they're affecting us to where we can impact children. You can bring your problems in and we can talk about it, but guess what? We are going to talk about it. We're going to cry. We're going to get it out, and we're going to now go and serve the children and the people that we are supposed to be impacting every single day. So I feel like it's cliche. So we have to be that understanding leader, but we also have the purpose. So in your experience, what are some of the benefits of focusing on that purpose? Like, what do you see? Like, how do you see the difference? And we can speak on too, you've been at different schools. So has your purpose changed when you went from a Title I school to a different type of school to, you know what I mean? Like, does it change?
Good question. The answer to that question, the answer is no. And let me tell you why. When you serve purpose, I love people. I don't like what I do. I love what I do. Yeah. So at the end of the day, the biggest benefit for me has been the ability to formulate relationships. That is the biggest benefit that I've ever received. And let me tell you why, right? So with the relationships that have been maintained, even as I've shifted schools, that is something that never changes. Your building location could change, but when you love what you do and you walk in purpose, the relationships that were formulated in one building, they never die. As a matter of fact, they strengthen because now I just believe as though my territory is becoming enlarged. And so there's parts in life and there's times in life where you could shift your location. Your home address could change. You could be, living on a different side of town. But at the end of the day, biggest benefit to this thing is that relationships grow. Build those relationships, allow them to be authentic. So that means that at the end of the day, wherever I'm located, I dress the same way. I have my hair the same way because at the end of the day, I'm me and I'm authentically me. And I love what I do. So goodness attracts goodness.
Amen.
When you move and you're sincere, sincerity attracts sincerity. Truth attracts the truth. Amen. So at the end of the day, no, ma'am, I have never changed. I just love what I do, and it goes from one location to the next.
Exactly. Because ultimately, and I say this to, like, I went from one type of school to another, and I had like a parent come in and was like, I don't want my kid at this school. I want my kid to go to X, like the type of school that I left. And I was like, sir, I just want you to know, kids are kids. I went to public school. I went to private school. And I'm sorry, some things are worse in private school because kids are kids. Yes. And everybody has access to so many different things. And honestly, okay, that's fine. Or you can work with us where we are here so that we can make sure that we're impacting these children. And they probably need us even more because of XYZ. So I was so taken aback by that. I was like, okay, you have no idea. I had the same issues over there that I have here. It just maybe not as many, but
Yeah.
it's the same issue. So my purpose is still the same and our people are still the same. So
Correct.
I completely agree with that. Building the relationships. Of course, that's one of my 3 R's. Okay.
Mhm.
Those relationships.
Yes.
And in my framework, the relationship, like if you're struggling, if you can hone in and focus on those relationships and you can think about like whenever I have an AP that's struggling, I say, all right, if you're struggling with the relationship between you and your principal, I can coach you through that, right?
Correct.
But what I'm going to tell you to do right now in this moment is go put your energy in everybody else, okay? Because you can't lose sight of why you're here. And it may not be to do that task in this moment or respond to an email in this moment. It may be to go be in that classroom or go check on that teacher or send that email or something like that where somebody needs you, right? And you're showing them that you care, because those relationships are key. And that's what keeps me sane most of the time. If I can go talk to someone when I'm having a hard day, and we can talk about family and I can talk about XYZ, and it's like we are just talking and it's not about work or the issues that we're dealing with, that's what makes me wake up and say, I got this. Leave the building and say, that was a good day. Yeah, it was crazy. And we had a whole bunch of stuff going on. But you know what? I really connected with Miss Smith today. And that was fantastic. You know, things like that. So I love it, love it, love it. Serving people and building relationships.
Yes, ma'am.
Kids. Yes, they are. And serve purpose. It is not about a title.
No.
You can take the title away. And guess what? When I was in the classroom, I tried to do the same exact things. The only reason I left the classroom, you probably feel the same way, is because I wanted to do it with more.
Correct. I agree.
Do the masses.
Yep. To the masses. Absolutely. And I'm just going to share this tidbit, Joyce. You all, I still teach today, right? So I still tutor, I still teach, because at the core of me is a teacher. The only thing that has happened is that I've moved forward, again, this position, but again, going back to what I really love, I'm centered and anchored in purpose. And when I talk about showing and not telling all the time, you all, I still walk into classrooms. I still teach classes today. If there's something that needs to be done, I can co-teach with my coach, or, you know, it's just different ways of doing it, but you cannot lose your core. And the core of me is a teacher.
Amen. And you know what? I was going to go to the next one, but this is and you don't have to answer this because of the fact that people know where we are, right? All right. But do you notice, as assistant principals, the reality is we have a principal?
Yes.
Okay? I've had different types of principals. It's fine, because not everybody's the same. When we become principals, we're going to have different types of APs.
Correct.
Everybody's blessed with us, but that's fine. Okay. So I do see, though, the difference in leadership. If we don't have a leader who is setting the tone to where this is our purpose rather than this is my position, you feel it.
Correct. And remember, APs, our number one job is to support the principal. So at the end of the day, I agree, you can feel it. And that's where it comes. You have to love what you do so much that you're able to find a way to balance that, but yet you have to be effective and keep kids at the core. So most definitely.
Exactly. And I also have noticed, so we have different types of schools. I've come from different types of schools. This school that I'm at now, I feel like I can be, and this is sad because I appreciate that about you, Adasha, is that you have been able to be your authentic self no matter where you go. I haven't necessarily felt that. And this is the first time I feel like in my career, I can be my authentic self and not feel judged about it. Not feel out of place, right? And I do feel like it has made me feel even more strongly about the purpose that I have in this place, right? In this one school. It's not the position, it's in this school. So whether I was a principal, the AP, a teacher, a coach, I feel like I'm able to impact even more because I can be my true authentic self. And that helps me to wake up in the morning and say, let's go.
Yeah.
It's just a different feeling.
It is. It is. And Joyce, I'm so proud of you. Just so you all know, she's talking to me, world. But at the end of the day, Joyce, you're amazing. And truly, that same ray of sunshine, I notice you because like recognizes like. But most definitely, it's nothing like getting up in the morning and saying, man, I'm going out here to do something positive. And, listeners that are listening, we may not get paid $1 million. But when I get home, when Joyce gets home, the sense of purpose, like it transcends. And one thing I always say is that your true purpose will always provide. And I'm a living witness. And so at the end of the day, just keep stepping, one day at a time, one moment at a time. But most definitely it's worth it.
All right. So I love how you said that. And that's going to lead me to this next question, because I have the AP group, right, on Facebook. And people are able to put comments or comments or posts. Okay, sorry, posts anonymously. And I have noticed that there have been quite a few anonymous posts about how they're struggling in this position, or how they're struggling, how they feel like they're being. It's mostly the principal and the AP. And I'm trying to just tiptoe a little bit because I don't want to go there, but I want to
understand,
because I am sick and tired of it. I have too many assistant principals, and I did some math a couple years ago in our own district, and there was an increase in administrators leaving, like almost 50% increase, and that in 1 year, and that was shocking to me. And one of the issues that I know, and I've experienced is the assistant principal relationship. We can't change people.
We can't.
We can try to build relationships. We can try to be the best AP. We can try to learn on our own if we don't have a coaching leader.
Yes.
What would you say, though, to that assistant principal? And we can even say the aspiring assistant principal who's not able to get to that position that they're seeking because of being they're just being stronghold, right? Or they're just not finding the right fit, or they're just I've seen it to where people are being forced to resign, forced because they're being lied on, or every single day there's an issue and they can never do anything right. It baffles me the extent of which I have read and seen and heard through people DMing me. And sometimes I just don't know what to say, because it's like, you can't change people, but all I can help you to do is push through what you're feeling. Correct. So what advice would you give that person who is not able to go into that school building and act on their purpose because their principal is not allowing them to? Their principal is making them feel inadequate. Their principal is lying on them. The principal is pushing them out because of whatever reason. What would you say? Because that's hard.
Joyce and everyone listening, that's super hard. But one of the things you have to do, the biggest piece, is you have to daily speak life into your own self. Yeah. As you're stating, Joyce, you're not going to get it from other places. And so I believe that it is a tough place, because it's where the rubber pretty much meets the road. But you have to make a conscious decision that, hey, my purpose says that these kids need me. Hey, my purpose says that I'm here to develop teachers. And so regardless of the dynamic between the assistant principal and principal, you have to keep your positivity. And I say to people, happiness, Joyce, happiness can go up and down. Yeah. But I am a person that has joy. And so when you have joy, nothing that I've went through, no conversation that was tough with anyone that was my superior or someone that I supported, nothing shook me from taking it one stride at a time. So it's speaking life into yourself, but the core of you has to be so strong. It has to be full of joy. I will be honest. There are days where I've gotten in the car, everyone, and I've beat the car wheel down, or I've gotten in the car and I've screamed out loud. But one thing that one of my great mentors taught me was that you never let someone see you fold. And so at the end of the day, you're correct. You can't change anyone, but what you can do is keep stepping And what you learn to do over time is inspire someone, because I always tell kids and adults, there's someone always watching. So when at the end of the day, if it's tough, keep stepping. And like I said, the benefit is speak life to yourself and understand the reason why you're getting out of your bed to go to work. And look at those kids. When I get a little frustrated, what I would normally do is I walk the campus. Come out of your office, be visible, talk to people, because people, they give me strength outside of whatever else you may be faced with.
Exactly. I agree with that. It was one of those times where I was feeling something. And I'm always transparent. So if I'm feeling something, I'm gonna tell you like, hey, I'm good. I just need a moment, right?
Correct.
Or you may see it on my face like today was, are you okay? And I will tell you, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm always like this.
Yeah.
But my people can tell, even though I'm smiling, they can see it in my eyes, right?
Yes.
Like, wait a minute, that's not Joyce. And so today I got a couple questions, like immediately it was like, are you okay? You good? I'm like, yes. I'll just tell you, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. My son didn't want to sleep last night. He doesn't sleep any night, but last night for some reason he had to get up a few times, And so it's like one of those things. It's like I'm just tired and I'm feeling, and I was transparent. I'm feeling a little uneasy about next year and how things are going. This is that time of the year for us. Like we don't know what's going to happen in our careers, and so you start to feel that pressure. But I had to check myself. Even though I know I wasn't being like, I knew that they could feel that something was wrong with me, even though I wasn't mad or, or showing it outside of the way that my eyes looked. And I had to just be clear, like, hey, y'all, I'm good. I promise I'm good. I will get through it. Is there anything I can do? And that's what they ask. I'm like, nope, it's my own mindset shift right now. And sometimes you just get in those self-doubt moments and it's like, okay, nah, girl, you tripping. You got this, right?
Correct.
And nothing that's outside of how I'm feeling and believing in myself matters. Nothing. Right? Because it's all about how I see myself, how I feel about myself. And I have to change how I feel about myself today so that I can be that for everybody else. And sometimes that's just how it is. And I know it puts a lot of weight on our shoulders, but we wouldn't be in this position if we didn't want to carry some of that weight for people. You know what I mean? And it helps me when I do carry it and then somebody else's weight is a little bit lighter. I'm like, I have succeeded. My purpose I succeeded. But I agree. Get into those classrooms, go be with the people, go outside, go to the cafeteria. Start talking to the children. And that's where your energy has to go.
And what you're doing too with that, you're still affecting change. Success starts with conversation. If I get one of the toughest students to talk to me, then what I realize is what they know and what they don't know, what their strengths are, what their areas of improvements are. If I get one of the most closed-in teachers to have a relationship with me where they're comfortable talking to me, then that's when you can develop them. But it's only in those moments when you come out of the position of AP and when you start serving the purpose of it and you get on the ground with people.
Yeah. And a lot of times they seek us for that in our position. They seek us as that person because the principal has so many other things that they're working on. Sometimes it's like, oh, I can't get to her or him. Maybe I'll go to Joyce or Adasha, maybe they can go. Or we are the bridge, right? Because the principal has all of these other things. We can be the one that's bridging that gap as well. And so we have to kind of have an ear to the ground a little bit. And I will tell you, my instructional coach, she's on here. And one of the things, she's been an instructional coach now for 2 years. She's fantastic. You got my newsletter. If you're not on my email list, you need to get on my email list. Go to adashapro.com. Get on my email list because I just started doing a newsletter. And it's not just an email because I've sent out emails and stuff like that. No, this is like content. And she wrote an article for my email list and I didn't tell everybody, but she did because I wanted to have a coaching perspective because they're a lot of times the ones that are the voice from us to the teachers when it comes to some changes or content, things like that. And she said one time that her biggest coaching moment was when she had a veteran teacher who's fantastic come to her for help. And it was just that she's built that relationship. She's built that trust. And that teacher who you never would have thought needed help came to her. It's the same thing. It's like what you just said. When you have that kid today, I have a child who I don't feel like I've built a relationship with him, right? He's in first grade. Just because there have been people who have built those relationships over time, and I've kind of just stepped back and watched it. But today was my time, my opportunity. So they had a substitute. I got called to the room, and he wrote "F-U" on a piece of paper. Okay.
Correct.
All right. The sub is like, oh, he wrote this. He did all of this. He wrote this. He wrote this. He kept saying, Maurice, talk to Maurice. Talk to Maurice. And I was like, let me talk to Maurice and see what happened. So I'm, all right, baby, let me talk to him. Let me see what happened. So I go to Maurice. He said, Maurice wrote that. And I said, did you write this? No, I didn't write it. I said, did you write this? I will find out if you wrote this, whatever. He's like, okay, I wrote it. That's all the other boy needed, was to be heard and validated. And in my head, I was like, oh, I just gained a relationship with this kid. Because she wasn't listening to this child. But I came in and I went to her and she still kept saying he wrote it. And I said, no, the other little boy just told me he wrote it.
Right.
And I walked out gratified. I was like, you know what? He might tell me his name next time. He might say hello to me tomorrow morning. I don't know. I clearly didn't solve the FU thing, but I felt very gratified.
Hey, baby steps, Joyce.
Right? Baby steps. I stepped out of my office and I usually, like I said, hesitate because he will run and throw stuff. And I don't know him like that. I might set him off. But today I said, nope, I'm going to go. And he smiled. Like he was like, wow, I told you he did it. Now, mind you, he wrote it too, but whatever. Those are those things, like you got to build those relationships into that trust.
You do.
And my purpose for today, even though I walked in with a frown on my face, worrying about life and all of these things, that's why I had to come back to work today. That was my purpose, was to listen to him. And I just reflected on that today, just now.
Well, I love your reflection, Joyce. It was great.
That's so true. And that's true too, right? Yeah. Now, reflection is key because communication is a two-way street.
It is.
Relationships should be a two-way street. And sometimes we got to check ourselves.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes we have to look in the mirror and say, what can I do to get better? I probably could try this one right here. So what can I do to get better as who I am? Yeah. Right. And if that means that I need to go create a multicultural night so that I can bring my family in and the community be happy one day, then that's where I'm going to go put my energy. If that means I need to go visit my ESC classroom and watch the children and be a support, an extra hand in there because they need more hands, that's what I need to do. Absolutely. But that's the reflection that you have to make. You have to check yourself and see how I can get better and how I can really show more purpose.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of my biggest things I love to do is working with young ladies. So at one of my previous school, I always like to start with the group that's going to middle school. So I targeted my 5th grade girls. And I love dancing. I dance around even when there's no music playing in the background. But realizing some of the talents that we possess, allowing them to rub off on young ladies or, young men that are watching and being able to teach through things that they enjoy has been something that has been something I'll never forget. But just taking the time, the key to this job is you have to take the time. I know we have a million things to do, you all, but Joyce looks like that and I look decent as well. So at the end of the day, it's something that I'm just letting you all know you can do it. It's just taking it one moment, one task at a time. But what keeps us alive, and one of the reasons too, I love district and all of that stuff, but one of my joys has been working in a school base because there are people surrounding me at all times and they're of different levels. And so the VPK voices may be different from the 5th grade voices, but I may need to hear a little squeaky voice every now and then, so at the end of the day, it's just something that keeps us going. But you've got to find the small things to keep you with the biggest picture in our view. And the
Yeah.
biggest picture is student achievement.
Yeah, absolutely. And having that opportunity to figure out what it is that makes you happy
Yeah.
in the position that you're in, whether,
Mhm.
like you said, it's tutoring a group. I know APs, I've done it before, where we pulled out groups during PE,
Yeah.
and that was our group, and we got to go back to teaching, and that was what made you happy, right? Being with the kids.
Yes.
But even like you acknowledging the fact that, you know what, I'm really good with females, with girls.
Uh-huh.
Girls that are needy, so fifth grade girls transitioning to sixth grade,
Yeah.
or high school girls, right?
Yes.
They need people like you
Mm-hmm.
who will
Mhm.
listen, who will
Correct.
connect,
Yes.
and don't be afraid to connect.
Correct. And you all, I'm smiling now because again, I have joy, but there are moments
Yeah.
when you have to be stern. This is my stern face. But when you're stern, you show tough love, meaning that you are tough to them at the beginning, but everything in it is love. Like I could share something with the students, and in that same sentence, I love you. And so one of the biggest things is, I know the world we live in is crazy, but some kids, and I'm speaking specifically in our Title I realms, they just need to hear that.
Yeah.
And not just hear it, but they need to know that it comes from within and that it's real talk. And when you're dealing with some people that are street smart, some
Yeah.
kids are street smart. So at the end of the day, you know, you just have to come from a place where you believe it first, but it does make a difference.
Mhm. Yep. And connection is key,
Yeah.
because that is what's going to help you to push through every single day.
Correct.
So I saw a comment about dunks. Look, I didn't know much about dunks. I see them and I'm like, I'm not a shoe girl. All of a sudden, you bet you're gonna find me in some cute shoes. Some cute
Correct.
sneakers. Because
Correct.
they'll be like, oh, Miss Kindly. And I'm like, yep, you know.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
also they respect you, because it's like, I'm
Yeah.
here with them, but I'm not a kid, I'm not a child, I'm not there. I'm
Correct.
still going to be respected, and I
Yep.
demand respect,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
that's a matter of when I say good morning, you say good morning back. When you say something, I say, yeah, you say yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I will correct you in a heartbeat, but I'm going to wear some fly shoes. And then they're like, oh man, it's a different connection.
It
And
is.
that helps a lot when you can connect with your people,
Yep.
because then you're not sitting there in position. It's, I am here to connect. I am here to make a difference in one person's life, whether it's the little people or the big people or parents. I
Or
love
parents.
having meetings with parents,
I love them.
and I can listen and we can talk, and it's not like, okay, yeah, you know, I've got to be like uncomfortable. It's like,
Yeah.
look, we've got, this is what we need. And you
Yep.
can be real, and this is, we're here at the table, and
Yep.
that's my purpose, is to connect with you in
Mhm.
this very moment, whether it's a
Mhm.
parent or anybody, because we deal with more than just children, right?
We do. And back to what you're saying really quick, crucial conversations are two words that I heard when you're speaking.
Yeah.
As a leader that loves what they do, you cannot be afraid of the crucial conversation. You just said that you go towards, like, I'm just like you, I go towards the difficulty. If there's rumblings in the front office, I raise my hand. Let me go see about it. And I smile, and I pick myself up, and I address it. But we also have to learn that sometimes some people, some of my toughest parents, all they wanted to do was vent.
Yeah,
And so
they
at the
want to
end
be
of the
heard.
day, it's not like you're going to diffuse every single thing. Some people just
Yeah.
need to speak, and they need to know that they're being heard.
Yeah.
So it's a
Right.
fun job.
Yeah, some people are just angry and you can't change that. So it's like,
Correct.
oh, whatever, it is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really good. That's good.
Mhm.
I did a live on what was it? Difficult conversations, and basically how they don't always have to be difficult.
No.
Because if you go to someone, the book is still here, but Stephen Covey talks about listening with an empathetic ear.
Yes.
And that's part of purpose, right? That's part of, like, I'm not here to push my position. Yes, I'm an assistant principal, or yes, I'm the school leader, or
Yeah.
a school leader. No, I am here to listen so that we can come to a conclusion on how we can make things better. Because we should
Yes.
always, our purpose is to make things and people better.
Exactly.
So that's a big one for me too. And it's not, doesn't mean that you're not going to be nervous or
Right.
it's going to be uncomfortable.
Mhm.
But if you do it the way, like you just said, where you're like, hey, here we are, let's talk,
Mhm.
then you will get through that challenging conversation, that crucial conversation.
Yep.
And that's parents and teachers.
And teachers, exactly. Absolutely. Agree 100%.
Yeah. I had a teacher post conference the other day, and her evaluation was not that, it wasn't good. Okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but we got to talk through it because I need her to get better.
Correct.
Right? Because she's the one in that classroom with all these children. So I tried to give her as much feedback as possible, but also when I talked to her and spoke to her, I knew that my purpose was to help her grow. It wasn't to say, this is your evaluation, I'm this is principal, checked off, goodbye. It is my purpose is to, one, listen to you to see what your thought process was.
Yep.
But two, to help you to understand the impact that you are making or not making on these children and how I can help you to get better, right? Because I got 20 kids in this room that need a good teacher, and you can do it. We just got to do X, Y, Z to get you there.
Exactly.
But I'm here to help you. I even offered to video and go through tape like we're NBA refs, right? So it's like, what can I do to help this teacher to be successful? Because I know she wants to, but she's just missing something.
Correct.
And so that was a challenging conversation for me because I didn't know if she was going to cry or like if the words, I'm like, help me with the words that are going to come out of my mouth, so I'm mean and I'm nice. But I knew that I had to do that because I have to be the person who's going to be of assistance, right?
Yes.
And not of evaluation.
Correct.
Those evaluations are like my nemesis. I can't stand them in the way that we have to give them sometimes because they get so intense.
They do.
Instead of us really having those ongoing conversations where we're coaching and we're helping and we're supporting and we're pushing people to elevate. But anyway, all right. So I think that's about it. Except for last question, I always end with something like this. What advice would you give to aspiring assistant principals or even the assistant principal who's struggling, whether they're in year 1 or year 10 or year 20? I know assistant principals who are struggling at 25 years, but they're staying in the struggle because of retirement or because I put in all this time and it's like, I just have to keep going, but they're struggling because it's hard. Okay.
It is.
But what advice would you give to those leaders who are looking to prioritize and find that purpose so that they can push through?
Well, the biggest thing is that I would say, I love reading, everyone, but I think of the tortoise and the hare, right? Slow and steady is going to win the race. So at the end of the day, you don't have to zip through things. You're zipping through it frustrated. You're zipping through it trying to check out compliance boxes. At the end of the day, the strongest advice is to take it one moment at a time. Slow and steady. It doesn't lose the race. It wins the race. And so also one of my favorite quotes comes from Dr. Maya Angelou, and it says, my mission in life is not to merely survive, but to thrive. And to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. So what that means is that stay true to you. I laugh a lot. Why do I laugh? Because life is good to me. And when I go to school and I go to work, I love interactions with parents, teachers, and students and the community. So at the end of the day, thrive. There is a difference between survival mode and now you get into the point where you're thriving. Thriving does not mean that you've arrived, because as an educator, you need to always maintain your humility posture, meaning willing to talk to someone up and coming, willing to talk to someone that's full of wisdom. And so at the end of the day, I love what you have, Joyce, where it talks about, even with our session, we're not competing against one another. This is not a competition between Joyce and I. What this is collaboration. And when you team up with the right people, you can go further and so can I. So at the end of the day, that's the advice. Slow and steady, maintain who you are, thrive in your current position, whether it's in a toxic environment or whether it's an environment that you feel free to be in. You just have to know your purpose.
Yeah.
And it's one moment at a time.
Yeah. And lean in on that purpose no matter where you are.
Correct.
Because there are two people I know that struggle with moving from one position to another. So let's say you're in an instructional position and you have been struggling trying to get an AP position. You have done interviews, you're not getting the feedback.
Yeah.
You have to think about, and a lot of times it's, my first principal would always tell me, timing is everything. It's just not your time.
That's good.
And I would be frustrated, right? And I feel like as a teacher who was ready, right, thought that they were ready, timing wasn't right because I needed something that I didn't realize. My purpose was at that place in that moment, I wasn't able to fulfill my purpose because I was blinded by my desire to move into the next position. So I had to take a step back and realize I have more work to do on myself, right? So that I can be a better Joyce and a better leader when the time is right. And then I put myself in a position to go learn more, go be in a different environment so that I was better ready when it was time. And it was a couple years and then it was time. It was like, all right, it's time. And I've had that same type of feeling every school that I've moved at so far. So the first one was like, okay, you know what? I fulfilled my purpose here. My purpose right now at that time was my family because I had a baby. And then the next one was like, I'm not feeling my purpose. It's never done, but you start to feel like I have so much more I can do. So I'm not sitting here like, oh, I need to be the next principal. I need to find somewhere where I'm feeling like I'm making better impact. And I was fortunate to have that feelings like come to fruition. And now I'm like, all right, it's that feeling of I can make or have a purpose and fulfill a purpose in different places. Like you said before, it's not necessarily the position, it's a different environment, a different place, a different mindset, a different community. So if you're struggling in where you are, you got to fix your mindset. That's number one. Fix your mindset, because right now it's just not time. So reflect on what your purpose is, where you are right now. Okay? And then see how you can position yourself into a different environment. If it's not an AP or it's not a principalship, maybe it's just something a little different. If you don't ask, you will never know. I do say that. It doesn't hurt to ask. I asked, I got what I needed. And I'm so grateful for that. If I never asked, I would be sitting in that same place. But you have to put yourself, because other people aren't going to do it for you. People aren't going to do it for you. So you have to figure out what it is that you need and where you can make the most impact and try to position yourself in that place.
Correct.
All right. So my timer's off. Chicken's ready. Time for us to close it out. Again, if you have not gotten on my newsletter, I need you to do that, okay? I need you guys to go to alvepro.com or Alve Pro Consulting. I haven't updated that. I've got both because I'm fancy. Actually, I didn't want to lose my alvepro.com, but go there. If you click on the free gift, it's a free affirmations for leaders, and it's just something you can print off and post to remind you of who you are and what you can do and what you will do, right? If you change that mindset, if you're struggling, and then you'll get on my email list. And I'm trying to do a bi-weekly newsletter, and the first one was bomb, so you don't want to miss the next one. And if you need anything, I'm always here for you. If you're on my Facebook group, I'm always just a comment, a message away. I am here to support you. And thank you so much, Adasha, for being here this evening. Those of you who are here, if you're watching the replay, #replay, let me know what you think. Everyone have an amazing Monday evening and have a great rest of your week. Take care, everyone.
Bye.